Yo, Banter fam. What's up? What's up? What's up? I hope you're all having a fantastic, what is it today? Wednesday. I hope you're all having a great, fantastic day at this point. We are starting to get some good news in the market, so I'm not going to waste too much time within the intro today. We are getting Bitcoin starting to break out of a daily trend at this point, well, a 4-hour trend. We obviously have the big news, which is coming on later today, which could either ruin this breakout or it can continue the continuation into the next big zone that we're looking for. And one thing we are getting is we're starting to get a nice little alt surge again. As soon as Bitcoin starts to break these little levels, we are starting to get some action back into the altcoins. So let's go through them. I have a whole list of alts I want to go through today, as well as Bitcoin. And let's get excited because, you know, if you don't try, you don't get in at these points, you're going to miss it at some point. These things do end at some point. The sideways phase does end. So let's get into it. Let's enjoy it. Let's get dun, 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 dun. I missed the soundboard, man. Guys, we are getting our new soundboard. Eventually, I can play music again, so we can start having some dancing fun again. I think it was time to bring that back, that song now, so we can start, you know, will this happen? Who knows? We're going to play it out, and we're going to be ready for either way that this goes. But, you know, there's always big opportunities when the markets are like this, and it's super important to stay dedicated. So, Banter fam, what's up? I hope you're having a great Wednesday. To anyone that is new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following myself on Twitter, Sheldon_Sniper. Make sure you're using all of our tools. Make sure you're on Telegram. Make sure you're using the website, as it gives free articles every day, as well as chart of the day as well. And we have so much tools across the platform to help you guys to always stay connected and make sure we are communicating with you guys. So let's have a look and let's jump in and see what is happening in the market right now and why are we getting a little bit excited, or why am I getting a little bit excited? Because I'm going to get excited on any major breakout sort of trend, because I know at some point these phases do end and we need to be ready if the phase does actually end. So what we got yesterday was this really big 1-hour candle. It was actually quite shocking, guys. I'm not sure how you felt about it at the time. But, you know, a lot of people are like, what the hell is happening? Like, look at this. Like, we literally had a massive green spike to the upward side and then a massive red candle to the downward side. And now we're rallying straight back up there. And it just shows you when something moves too quickly, how they like to reverse it. And what I mean by that is we had a really strong push up. They reversed that quickly. But then also, by having a massive red candle like this can definitely be a trap at points, and it can be a liquidity hunt where it quickly, everyone FOMOs in, and then shakes them out and then continues the journey. And what does that do? It basically gets them to FOMO in on the pump. It then shakes them out. So now they panic out, and then it pumps it back up and they get them to buy in at higher levels. So it's just pure manipulation at these points. And you can see that, yes, there is offloading happening. We can't deny that there's been offloading happening at these key areas. We are getting the bigger sort of red volume spikes at points, but we're also getting massive buy points. So right now, no one can say that we're completely bearish or we're completely bullish at this sort of point, because we're both getting a war between the both. When we're getting to big levels, they're offloading at times, but then we're also getting the buying power when it gets back down to these sort of levels. So what's exciting for me at this point was we did start, when is it from? The 2nd of March. So we're running in 2 weeks of a downwards trend now since we rallied up to the 45 zone. Okay. Firstly, that's really important is when we do get to a point of zone of rejection and we start this downwards trend, we want to see where the next low has landed to the previous low. If we're holding higher lows, it's giving good indication. And it's basically showing us that we had this. Let me get a drawing tool out here. that one, Sheldon. Jelly brains, guys. Just excuse the jelly brains. It is real. But we do get this explosion, and then we get the sort of flag that starts to form. And as long as we are still containing higher lows, it's still showing that the bulls are still remaining strength at these points. And we need to be staying focused, because then what we do is we start to track down the downwards momentum. And we want to see a break of that momentum. Like, this is a beautiful flag as the way it's playing out. And a break out of this zone will give us an indication we go back to that zone. Now, we do have the big news coming out later. And we do know that the big offloading whale, because now I'm jumping on 4 hour more, to see what's happening with this week. And then we go into the higher time frames to understand that this is the main channel that Bitcoin's been rallying in since we slowed down from the long downward sort of trend, right? So we know we're sort of offloading, and we know how important the bottom line is, and we know how important the top line is. The break of the top can finally break us out of the 45K zone, and we can finally get back to the regions of the 50K zone, which will be great. Now, we know if that does happen, a lot of eyes will go into Bitcoin. We will have a dominant spike to the upward side. And then what we usually know after that is we then, let's jump on, what usually happens after that is that then gets diversified back into the altcoins. So we got to be ready at any single point. We know the alts have been the one that's got hurt a lot more at the time. But they're also going to be the ones that catch up a lot quicker than what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin has a 30%, you can get 100% spike in within the alts. So we have the news today, and I'm looking this as a very important day for us, because either we're going to be looking now. What are we doing? We're breaking out, and we are now chasing for the remainder of the higher high. We did have a higher low previously, which was important. Now, for that to be accurate, we need to make the higher high, which means we want Bitcoin now to rally back to the 42 to the 44K zone. That will be how we start to know that this temporary little pullback for the last 2-3 weeks, we are now starting to reverse that. And now we're starting to get the bulls to show strength. Now, this big offloading whale wall and this downwards, the buying wall, if I can call it. Now, remember, guys, if you got a floor and you got a ceiling of something, we're always going to be able to test both. But the one that we hit more is usually more likely to be the one that we're going to break. So if we can go back into the 55K zone from here, it's showing the amount of strength that is coming in. And what I mean by that is we've been at this buying wall at the bottom twice. We have now been 1, 2, 3, 4 times we have tested the top ceiling wall. Now another push to the zone is another wall eventually. And with a wall, eventually, this is where the bears have been trying to hold control without this whole downwards, the sideways phase since we got at the really aggressive downward zone. And that's where they want to reclaim. They know how important that zone is for the bulls, because if the bulls reclaim that, we can then see people need to sort of remember that as fast as something goes down the one side, this can be up or down. And this is a perfect example of it. As fast as you can go up one side is as quick as you can go down the other side. And it's the same thing here. As fast as we went down over here is as quick as we can go up here. Like, you must never count that out, because we've seen it many times within Bitcoin. And if we take us back to this zone, here's the perfect example of it, was look how quickly we came down and look how quickly we recovered back up. And this was a beautiful print of the emotion cycle, where we get the panic, we get everyone shaken out, tough stage, and then we start the road to recovery. And look how a lot of the volume works within this range over here. And then when it's finally broken key levels, it doesn't take much more volume to actually start getting it moving again once they broke through a very key wall to the upward side. And that's very similar to where we're looking at now. So we can't lose interest now. It is a zone that wants us to lose interest. But if we go now from the zone of where we're at, and we shoot back into the zone here, it's another great test on this wall. And a final break of this wall will finally give us the indication we can start a possibility roadmap to the upward side. We do have a very key zone from that, where I know us as the Banter fan, we're going to have to make a very serious decision between the 55 and the 60K zone, because that will be the 618 of that big leg down to the up. We need to make a decision there on taking some sort of profits, and we'll see when we get there. So right now, I'm getting an early breakout from Bitcoin on the 4 hour. We have the news coming out today. What are they going to do that's going to shock us? If they do something ridiculous, I kind of feel that the market's countering in, a 0.5. you know, it makes sense for me for the interest hike. And if that does, I don't really see that making a negative effect on the market. I really, really don't. And if we can just have a neutral view on that on the news later, we can get the market to start flowing naturally. So right now, the chart is showing me that Bitcoin's front running at this point. Is there something that Bitcoin knows that we don't? Because the charts are showing a lot of strength at this point. So what I'm looking at is if Bitcoin can reclaim this higher point over here of 42, it's remaining in the strongest strength. You know, we're finally reversing this downwards trend. And that's sort of where I'm seeing us rally from here, is between the 42 to the 44 zone. Now, if news comes out bad today, we're going to use this line as a very important line. Because if we break back into this line, it's indicating very much we're going to go test the bottom band. So we know we got the top band, we got the bottom band. And either way today, we break back into this trend. We know the low 30s are there. And we know that, what does that mean? It means Bitcoin is just still in this accumulating zone. Guys, they are buying these bottoms. I don't know if you see these volume spikes the way I see them over here. I'm seeing volume spikes. I'm seeing a lot more green spikes than red spikes at this point. I really, really am. And it's definitely not retail which is interested at this point. So I'm using this now as an advantage now with altcoins, because I know that this dominance at this point is rallying. You know, it is still in the sideways phase, but I know that it is still in favor of Bitcoin right now. But I know at some point, if we get, you know, let the dominance be with Bitcoin for Bitcoin to break through the key levels. But after that, remember what happened the previous times where we finally got out of the rut was Bitcoin needed to do what it needed to do. It got diversified into the alts. Previously, Bitcoin did what it needed to do, diversified into the alts. So if this has to rally up higher and maybe come back into the higher band of the dominance, which is around the higher 40%, let it be. That's great, because we know what's next. For me, I kind of feel we missed the Bitcoin entries. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not buying Bitcoin at these levels. I'm looking at what else is cheap and what else I can start getting into, because Bitcoin started to break those trends a while ago. And I kind of feel in the $30, the 30K to the 35, anywhere between 30 and 40 was the buy zones for Bitcoin. Now, what is, just before I go into the alts, last one is, I spoke about this yesterday about the USDT dominance coming back down here. Guys, this chart is so important. The break of 46K for Bitcoin and a break of this dominance chart will finally show us, like, no more wasting time. Make sure you're in the market, because remember the last time this happened, this was the big run that we had at that zone. So we're keeping a close eye on that as well. And a quick look on the stock markets. Beautiful green candle forming on the stock markets, which is good. And we started to get a lot of bit of greenness in the market. So that's good. So I'm using this now to my advantage of altcoins, because the altcoin alarms are starting to go off and they're starting to go quite crazy. So the first one that I'm looking at, we had the little fake out there, and you see how important it is for the higher high. And that's what I'm saying with Bitcoin, is from here, we want to get a higher high in play. And that will confirm that we have now slowed down that trend. Now we're at the point where ETH is now breaking the daily trend again. And here is the high right here on ETH at this point. So it will finally give us the first higher high daily for ETH, which means, you know, this is a good sign for reversal from this last 2-3 weeks to the downward side. Now that's sitting at around 2,770. So I'm looking at two ways. I'm deploying a bit at these points on the daily breakouts, and I'll be deploying more on the retest and the continuation. Securing a higher high is what gives us what we need, but ETH is showing strength, which is a good sign for the alt market. Now I start to jump into the rest. I'm like, okay, what's happening with the rest? We have Axie now starting to break daily trend at this point right now. So for me, I'm deploying on this breakout over here. And remember now, guys, never be afraid to deploy when you're getting a really big signal happening at this point. The only thing is, we know there's big news later. And what is Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin is getting to an end of a wedge. So we know volatility is coming and we know volume's coming too. So that means I'm never afraid to be deploying and entering at these points. I'm just adjusting my risk, which means I'm adjusting my stop losses. I'm putting everything under these previous lows at these points, because this is it. This is where we need the market to break. And if it's going to break, this is where it's going to break. And I need to be a part of that. And if it fakes me out, I've prepped for that and I have my risk in play, because then I know we're going to way lower levels and I know Bitcoin's going to the low 30s. So I'm tightening up stop losses, but I am entering and I'm making sure I'm in these, because these have been in a long downwards phase. Look at Axie, how long this has been down here. You know, I'm seeing great gains coming here. And will this be the breakout? If Bitcoin does what it needs to do, it will be the breakout. If it's a fake out, I'm getting stopped and I'm getting Axie at a way cheaper price, because it is so important right now for the altcoins to bounce. If we don't hold these levels, we're going to be getting them for 30-40% cheaper. You know, that's the sad reality of it. So I'm making sure the risk is set into play. But this is the moments that I trade for. This is the clear signals that I want. I want to be buying this breakout here, and I'm putting a stop loss in play. Now, let me jump on here. Actually, here's the trade. Here is it here, guys. There's my entry for me. There's my stop loss in. I have a short-term TP at $70 to take some profits off the table. We've learned that now. We have to take more profits, and it's okay. Don't be upset with yourself. We'll cash it on the next one. This market does turn bullish. Stop forgetting. Make sure you don't repeat the same mistakes. So this is good for me that we are starting to break this trend. I'm entering here. I'm putting a stop loss in play, and I do have TPs on. Remember, yeah, guys, with my coin panel here, I have all of these charts for you guys, and always here to help you guys with all of it. So please make sure you're using the tools. Then, before I jump into the next ones, remember yesterday I told you guys about taking some profits on RUNE. So it's not about me. You know, they've had great fundamentals. They've had great news. But the chart gave it very clear. It gave me an indication that RUNE was overbought, and it was getting to a zone where we've tested many. It's definitely reversed. So I want to be buying it back. But I'm taking profits. And if you took profits yesterday in the region of where we were at, you know, you would already be at the point of making 10-15% more RUNE. Like, you know, so I took profits there, and I'm buying RUNE back at the region of the 5.6. So you need to use this as an example, because if the whole market wakes up, a lot of tokens are going to look like this. And remember, what we're getting is we're buying this breaker trend, and we're buying the retest, and then we're taking profits along the way, and then we're buying back. Now, what that does for me is it firstly gave me 80% gain to the upward side. Now what it does for me is I started taking some sort of profits, and now I'm looking at the point of buying 27% more tokens. So I've made $80% and I've made 27% more tokens. And this little 27% more tokens that I make here is going to play a big role for me on the next leg on the upward side. And you'll see how it compounds. So remember, a downwards market, you make tokens. On an upwards market, you make dollars. Very simple. And use RUNE as the perfect example, because this is how we wanted to print on all the rest of the altcoin charts. And you're going to be seeing a lot of this play out, you know, when we finally start to break out. And it may damn be today. It may be. It may not be, but it may be. Like, you know what I mean? You have to be ready, and you have to be secure for both plays to play out. So RUNE's looking great. I am going to update on Fantom, and I'm thinking of taking another bet with RAN. I don't know what you guys think. Please put in the comments there. Should I take another bet with RAN? End of the day, I don't care if I win or I lose. I still do if I lose. If I lose, I do what I got to do. But, you know, I was right. I hate to say it, but I was really right. If we look at this chart here, RAN was so lucky for that day of catching me with that fish line. Guys, like, who was right? Was I wrong? Like, look how ETH has outperformed Solana over the last few months. Like, I was definitely not wrong. I just literally got caught on this little this little green candle. Where's it? Yeah, no, it's here. Where is it? It's literally here. This little zone is where I got caught. Literally. But look. So you know what I mean? So looking at that, let's jump back into here. I'm calling this with Fantom. RAN was saying that was the bottom for Fantom. I'm saying 80 cents is the bottom for Fantom. Now, this isn't a panic get out point of view. If you're in, and you got into higher views, you know, you got to wait for the market cycle to sort of play out. But if you're looking to buy Fantom and you're looking to add more, remember, we broke this long-term trend to the trend that we were holding for Fantom. We broke this zone, and it was showing that it really lost steam. And what it usually does is, you can see here, we're getting a little bounce, which is good, right? But we're going to make our way to this trend, and then we can look at a rejection to come and test next support. We broke support. We made the lower low. We're showing weakness at this point. So it's not a get out signal for me, but I'm looking at an adding signal, because you can add a lot more, and you can be getting for so much cheaper than what it was previously. I think Fantom's going to recover, and I think this thing will be back at $3-4, you know, within this year. I'm pretty sure. Like, I think it's really going to do fantastic things. I'm stingy with my entry though. I know when I want to buy it. I'm not going to chase and FOMO at this point. Dollar costing, that's fine if you're holding it for a long time, but I think we're going to catch it at this zone. So I'm seeing a shoot up to the trend back to 1.4, and then I'm seeing another leg down to the region of 80 to 90 cents. And that's where I'm going crazy. That's where I'm banking some of my profits from RUNE. I'm buying some Fantom, and I'm being clever within my wins and my losses. Doesn't matter if your wins are 20, 30% right now and your losses are 70%. Doesn't matter. I'm still taking my wins and I'm still using them to buy my ones that have lost. Because by me adding tokens there, I'm slowly reducing my entry price. The more tokens you have, the lower your entry. And that's the simplicity of it. So Fantom, be aware of this, guys. Be aware of this. And if you catch it to the state, like, I would say you definitely add it to your portfolio. I think it's going to be fantastic. And I think if you catch an 80, 90 cents, I think you're getting a bargain and you're getting at a really good price. You're buying fear, which is a really, really good and a good habit you want to be in. Now, next one that I spoke about was DOT. And our DOT's showing strength at this point. It's literally at the point where we nearly made the high earlier today. And I'm looking at Bitcoin still range a little higher than what it is at this point, which is going to secure DOT's first higher high since we've been in this downtrend. Guys, it's a long time down, and now we can be at that point. Do you see how the market changes? Where you've got big aggression, and now we start to go sideways. And when we go sideways, you just want to get that indication of that first higher high. You get the higher high, that's a great indication, and you want to find it where we break that long-term trend. So for DOT, I'm definitely interested at this point. Our stop loss was great on where we put it in last week, and I'm still in the buy zone at this point where I'm loading up on DOT, because DOT can have a strong explosion. I am going to take some profits along this road. I will take some at $23 to $24, and I'll take some more at 28, because I know that this big pullback here is never just going to recover like this. But there's a lot of gains inside. How do you think the whales make money at these times? This is where they make the biggest money, because they can trade in a range. They can make dollars, farm tokens, make dollars, farm tokens. It's the same thing here. So if this, the way this looks for me is we start to get a strong recovery from DOTs back into the regions here, even to this zone here. And then I see a pullback here, and then a continuation zone up there. And for me, this is what I want to be a part. So I'm not afraid on any of these next pumps, the same way we did with RUNE, to take profits along that journey to the upward side. So DOT is definitely another big one that's looking great for me now and showing strength at this point. We then have Arweave. If you look at this chart, it looks fantastic. It looks really, really, really good. So I'm putting a stop loss around $27 on Arweave. I'm entering at the zone now. I'm telling you guys, if Bitcoin breaks and we break that thing, you're going to see a market explosion. And I'm prepping for both. I have a stop loss. There's my stop loss in case it goes wrong. I'm not scared of that. But if this goes right, we're going to get insane gains. So Arweave is at a great buy zone for me here. I am taking some profits at $40, and I'm taking some more at around $45 to $50. But this is looking great. You want to catch one that's on this breaker trend here. Look at that volume that it took to break out there. Volume is there. And as soon as Bitcoin gets to levels, these alts are going to go berserk. So this, for me, same thing. To this road, to this road. I'm going to be getting some profits out at this point, and I'll be loading up again, and I'm going to be clever within this range. So I'm not missing out on that. We then look at the 1 inch. It's gone now. Maybe we catch the retest, but this is what we're looking for, guys. 1 inch is making its first daily high. When you want to track this down, you want to catch this up. Let's get on the retest of this one. Let's get it back at 1.3. Then I'll be safe to buy in 1 inch. But I'm just showing you what you want to see. This is how you want to see it play out. And this is what you do. You would be buying on the break of that trend. You would have been putting your stop loss under this low. And you can see how breakouts, retest, that stop loss should never be triggered if the market goes bullish. That's it. And if it goes bearish, you got that, you got your security in play. And what does it mean if it goes bearish? You're going to make more tokens. So you don't lose either way. You're either going to make more tokens or you're going to make more dollars. That's how it works, right? So 1 inch is the perfect example of that. Chainlink. I'm buying Chainlink on the short term now. I am taking some profits at at $19 and $21 and even around the $24 zone, because I'm sort of seeing a road for recovery of Chainlink to get to these zones. I'm going to be taking profits along the journey, and I sort of see it coming back to the zone. And then later on, within the next month or two, start getting to the really big daily breaker trends. And then I'm in and I'm beautiful. So I'm making dollars, I'm farming tokens, I'm making dollars. So Chainlink for me is a buy at this point. My stop loss is sitting around $12. Remember, your risk to reward now about 124, 125. So it means you're risking 10, 12% of your capital for 40, 50% gains. So when you have a good risk to reward ratio, that's always look to risk to reward, and remember to use this little tool here, this long and short thing, where this is what my chart's showing me. So this is where I want to buy. Let me see where I would put a stop loss. It will give you your percentage. And let me see where would I take TPs. And this will give you your percentage as well. And you'll see how it will give you a risk to reward ratio at 3.89 over here. Anywhere above 3 makes sense for me. And as long as you've got a structured trade behind it, you know, this is how you want to be calculating these things as you end. So that's looking great for me as well. I'm definitely getting in Link. I was looking at Sand as well. Look at this. You know, daily break of trend, starting to show a lot of strength at this point. Volume starting to come in. You see how volume comes in when we break daily trends. This is why you don't want to miss them. So Sand's getting to, it's a little bit high on the high box. I think if we can catch it around 2.8 within today, I'd be entering the Sand trade with a stop loss around 2.65, just under that zone over there, so under previous low. But this looks great. You know, this is where I'd be looking at taking some profits at 3.5, and I'll be taking some more at $4. And same range here. So it's showing you the ranges are big, guys. Look at this. A little bounce in the market. You can see how the percentages range very quickly. That's money, right? Someone's making money there. You know, so use this to your advantage. So Sand is another one that I'll be getting ready for and having a look at. Let me actually jump on here on CoinPanel. We got the Arweave charts. Let's see what else we got on here. Let's have a look. We got the dot chart. I saw EGLD was showing a lot of strength. We'll be catching that on the next pullback. Please put in the comments here, guys, if you do want me to go through some charts for you guys as well. I'll go through Gala as well for you, no problem. Let's have a look at Gala. There's the trade, guys. Look how it's slowed down. This is what we want to see. So Gala for me is in a beautiful entry zone at this point. I have a stop loss under previous low. Very simple. I'm taking some TPs that are around, you can see that's big. You know, you're looking at 60 to 80% gains just to TP1. That's massive gains, guys. So Gala for me looks fantastic. This is where I'll be taking short-term trades. I'll be putting my stop loss in play. And no one can say nothing. If Bitcoin breaks 46 and we start this road to recovery, you know, and now all of a sudden we start this road to recovery, you're going to remember these or these entries for the rest of your life. It's quite simple. Remember the guys that bought Fantom last year at 40 cents. Yes, it's come back down to 80 cents, 90 cents in those sort of zones. But you went to $3 before that. You remember those entries? Remember when Solana was $1 beginning of last year? Guys, you can get entries that can change your life. So never be afraid to do it. You know, let's just strategize them and catch them. So this is another one that's looking great at Gala. I think gaming will always shoot out quickly when the markets are showing a lot of strength. Let's go through them. So AVAX. I also saw MATIC. So this one's interesting for me as well. So MATIC is getting near. I think the MATIC breakout will come in probably later in the week to next week if all goes well. But I want to be catching this big daily trend. So we've been catching these drops into this big support zone, which we've been holding up. Look at the volume spikes when we get to these zones. You can see how there's always massive interest at these levels. So MATIC's at very key zones. But I'm a little bit more patient for the break of the daily trend. A little bit more patient. I want to see it the way we just saw this chart here. That's what I want to see. Then I'm nailing in. So you can buy whatever coin you want. Just buy it right. Let's have a look. Theta. Which is the other one I missed now? I did MATIC. Okay. Let's have a look here. Let's go to Theta. Solana. I'll go through Solana now as well. Let's go through Theta. Look here, guys. Be ready at any time. I'm buying break of trend. I'm buying retest. Look where Theta is. Guys, it stopped the big aggression downwards. We're now ranging. Market cycle. Always put it in your brain. That's what needs to come next. And we're seeing that next clearly on the chart. So I want to be seeing now the next break of this trend, retest, and the continuation. I'm not afraid to enter these zones, and I'm putting my stop loss under previous low. And because it was ranging so little, you're not going to have a lot of risk. Your risk to reward here will be massive because you'll be looking at a 5% risk on the break of trend, 5 to 8% risk, but your gains are like 80 to 90 to 100%. So, you know, that's a 1 to 8 risk to reward ratio, and that makes a lot of sense. So Theta is showing a lot of strength at that point. Let's go through Solana and see where we're looking at Solana. There we go. So Solana is at the verge of a daily break as well. Do you see why today's important? Today's very important, guys, because we have so much coins that are in the region of a daily breakout. So if we have a look here, we can see Solana, really strong daily break trend. We've slowed down. We are now accumulating sideways. And a break of this, I have a first TP that's sitting at 120, and I have the next that's sitting around 160. You know, risk to reward, I'm putting a stop loss under previous low. So break today, and the break will probably confirm. If Solana closes above $86 today, it's confirming the breakout. If it confirms the breakout, I'm entering. I'm putting my stop loss in the region of 72 to 74. And I'm making sure I got a TP strategy. Now, another thing just to remember, when we get to any of these TPs, move your stop loss to entry. Remember, you want to get rid of that risk so that just so you can sleep at night. So you don't get upset with yourself if things fall and everything tanks tomorrow. You know, you were covered. And that was the main thing. We're going to be using a lot more stop losses as the market goes up, even on some of the hodl, because I think it's time for us to look after our accounts and start treating it with a lot more respect, if I can call it. So Solana, be ready. It's looking good. It's looking strong. It's looking really good. What else are we looking at here? Render's got a little bit more time. Cycling has begun. Exactly. Cycling. Cyclist. AVAX. I see someone shouting here at me. AVAX. Okay, let's have a look at AVAX. So AVAX is there. It's not. Do you see now the difference? So AVAX is showing a chart here, which is great, but it's not daily breaking trends just yet. So it just means that AVAX can range here for a little bit longer, and then we can start to get the main break of trends. So we do have a higher low. We do have bullish diversions. So you could be looking, if you want some AVAX at this point, to be adding a bit at the zone. You're just putting a stop loss under previous low. Just remember, we are still outside of the trend. So I won't be going too crazy, and I will be looking at taking profits near the trend. So if I am buying AVAX here, you know, I'm only looking at a 10 to 15% gain to the trend. So for me, risk to reward, it's only 1 to 2, 1 to 3. So it's not there just yet. So I'll just be a bit more patient when it comes to AVAX and what we're looking. Let's have a look. GRT. I'll see if I got GRT in my charts there as well. Let's go have a look at Render. Render's nearly there, guys. Same thing. It's clearly out of the downwards phase. Now we are channeling sideways, which is good. So a bit more time. You want to catch the daily, catch the retest. I'll be taking some profits at 3.8. I'll be taking some at 4.6. And I'll be buying back again. Same strategy. Do you see how they're all printing the same patterns? This is why you got to be ready for it. And if I'm buying here, I'm putting a stop loss under previous low. So I'll get this trade set up for all the guys that are on CoinPanel. Remember, guys, this is all of it. You know, what do you need end of the day? Volatility is coming, and we can see volatility is coming. Use this. I just want to see if it's showing. Use this, exactly that. Tighten up in your stop losses when you know big moves happening. Set take profit points. Have some cheeky orders in case it goes wrong. Set alarms. Have trend lines drawn, support and resistance, and have cash available. The main story of it is have a damn plan behind it. And remember, if you don't have a lot of time, then this platform gives it all to you. CoinPanel gives you all of that. So we've actually updated a lot of these charts. Like the amount of lists that we're creating here, it's a massive tool for you guys. Next one here, let's have a look quickly, is VET. Look at VET, guys. Guys, this is slowdown. Go down to the last time charts did this. I want you to do that favor. Go back to all your charts and all these tokens. Go look the last time they were all at these levels, where we finally came out of a strong, bad, like downwards phase, and then we calmed down. Go look what happened after. You know, it was very similar. This one didn't slow down as much, but it slowed down. What happened after? You know, we slowed down in this region over here. Like, just understand where we are at these points. These charts are looking amazing. And these are really, for me as a trader and for me as a swing trader, like this is heaven for me. And if it happens today, I need to be ready for it, because I'll be very upset with myself if I slept on it and everything is 30-40% high in the next few days. The market does do that. So VET as well, guys. Look here. It's looking great. So I'm going to be looking for, if we can get above 4.8 cents today and we have a daily close above that, I'm going to be entering, and I'll be putting my stop loss in the region of 4.3. So I'm looking at a region of 10% stop loss, but then I have TP, which is sitting at 7 cents, and I have another TP that's sitting at 8.4. Risk to reward, if I buy here, you can see the difference very clearly. My buys, 50, 90%. My risk, 8%. VET's looking great. It moves really strongly when the market turns bullish. And remember, if you're buying, I think investment-wise, this is looking great. If you're buying that, I'll be buying the VTH token as well, because that just rips completely in a bull cycle as well. So So VET is also showing strength. Let's take another 2-3 more. Let me jump in here. Let's have a look. Kusama. So Kusama was our perfect example of a stop loss. You see how we put stop loss under the previous low? You see how important that is to put a stop loss under previous low, because if we're going to bounce, this is where we're going to bounce. And now we're starting to rally upwards. So this is where, and we're still in entry zone for Kusama. So I'm still looking. This one is in the region. I'll be putting, it's a little bit bigger of a 15% risk, but my gains are also massive. I'm looking at $200 as my next TP, and I'm looking at $250 on my next TP there as well. So Kusama, I'm still happy. I'm still got all my positions from last week, and I'm still holding strong there. It's showing a lot of strength. So that's looking really good. Luna. Oh, let's actually bring up the Luna chart here. Now, do you see when the whole market wakes up, how Luna doesn't move anymore? Now, Luna and ThorChain were the coins that moved in the last few days, and the whole market was sitting stagnant. It was doing nothing, right? Now we have the opposite. The whole market's waking up, but we have Luna and them slowing down. Now, remember what I was speaking about yesterday, that I love these tokens. I do. But I do have a strategy behind them as well, because my strategy wants to make me more Luna no matter what. That's what I want to do. I'm tired of putting more money in. I want to make more Luna. So let's put this daily trend here. So at this point of where we are with Luna, I'm not selling. We haven't lost any major supports just yet, but I do have this major trend in play. And if Luna does not show more strength, it means it's tiring down. Something is changing. Remember how we had this big drop and then something changed? Same over here. Now we're pushing strong up. Something is changing. So if Luna doesn't break all-time high within the next week, I'm going to be quite concerned at that point, because there might be a great farming opportunity for me. And this will be the trend line that's going to give it to me, is this zone over here. So that's the momentum Luna's currently moving in. We need to keep that momentum. If we start at any point to break this momentum, I am going to take a little farming strategy, and I want to be buying it back. Remember, I'm not buying Luna here. I can't buy Luna here. I want it at a better price. Just because, I want to be holding this for a long time, and I don't want to pay ridiculous rates. I want to be stingy with my entry. And if we don't hold this momentum, I'm seeing Luna go back to $60 to the $65, $68 range. And that's where I'll be loading up more. So just use this trend line for now, guys. Don't sell. Don't be getting out to any of these sort of things. Let's hold momentum. And remember, Luna's got a job to do. It needs to break these trends within the next few days. And if we break that, I'm not doing all of it. I'll probably do 50% of my Luna. I'm going to be taking some profits, and I'll be buying back another 20, 30% more Luna at these entries, at these zones over here. Dot, I went through. I went through Coty. So there's a few more, guys, that I'm going to go through next week for you guys. Nia, fantastic. Secret, fantastic. I'll be going through all of these tomorrow and making sure stingy with my entries. Exactly. Be very stingy, guys, because it may be an entry that changes the rest of your life. Always remember that. One token made me a lot of money. Chainlink made me a lot of money. And remember, you need that one. One trade can change your life. I promise you guys. Let's have a look. Any other nice ones? ADA, I went through. Okay, cool. So, guys, I'll be going through the rest tomorrow. Make sure you tuned in tomorrow, because I think the big news and the big stuff's going to happen today. So either we're going to get the damn breakout, or we're going to get a fake out, and tomorrow we're going to run on the next plan. So the charts are showing us something amazing. Use your strategy behind it. If this breaks out, we're going to have insane gains. Be ready for it. If it fakes out, we're also going to have insane gains, because you're going to make 30% more tokens. Let's not use this as a bad thing. Let's use this as a pure strategy. But right now, Bitcoin's front running, and I'm quite interested in what's going to happen later. And the market's looking good. So let's always take that into account. So guys, I'll see you all on tomorrow's show. Much love. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Make sure you're on our Twitter. Make sure you're on CoinPanel. Make sure all the things that I can communicate with you guys. Someone asked about a stochastic RSI. I'll be going through that with you guys tomorrow. So remember what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking a breakout from alts. I'm taking TPs. Remember I told you guys I'm taking profits, because the stochastic is going to get oversold on the daily. And then I want to buy back on those retests. So I'm not saying this is the breakout where we have crazy, now we go to all-time highs. I'm saying we're finally going to break daily trends. We will then come back and test, and then we will continue. So I'm using this to make dollars. I'm then going to be getting some coins, and then I'll be taking it for the next run after that. So the daily RSI will be getting high. Things will be getting high at these points. That's why I have TPs on this next push up, and then I'll be catching the next one on the downside. Strategy. Guys, I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Much love, Banter.